Good evening, folks. Hope you're well. Just another video, I suppose. We'll see what YouTube will do with this one. Maybe they'll let it pass. Maybe they'll screw around with the stats. Who gives a rip? They'll do what they're going to do, won't they? I've become absolutely disenchanted with YouTube and what's happened to it. I think social networking, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, I think it's all got a very short life. I think sooner or later people will wise up. It'll be just another fad. And the sooner they ban Facebook, they won't though, will they? We know it's all about look into my eyes. People are so obsessed with doing all this all day and can't wait to see. Well, quite frankly, I really don't give a shit what Jenny from Northampton thinks. Or Bill from Bromsgrove, you know what I mean? I don't. What they think is inconsequential to me, quite frankly. Of a note, I watched, sometimes I just get terribly bored. And I think I look for something different on YouTube because I don't watch television. I refuse to watch television. Another lie vision. That's about sums it up for me. I can't stand television. I wish people would wake up and realise that there's life out there. There's flowers, there's birds, there's animals. There's so much to learn. But people, watch the telly. Oh, should we go to bed now? Yeah, okay. Let's go to bed now. Till tomorrow. And there is absolutely no excuse for ignorance anymore because, you can grab anybody off the telly and ask them a few questions and they'll say, well, I don't know. What do you want to know? To be honest with you, most people don't really want to know because school damages children to such an extent they think when I leave school I'm never opening another book. I'm never going to go through the hassle of having to learn something I have little interest in. But people don't seem to want to learn anything about the things that might interest them, if only they knew about them, or they want to confirm something, or I'm being very general about this, but I was looking around YouTube and I come across an interview of four interviewers were interviewing four mass serial killers before they were executed. I thought this will be interesting. Things you do. But listening to them, one in particular, they're all horrible. The more I watched it, the more angry I became, and I had to turn it off. Because what this guy did was he was a cold-blooded killer and a big fat slob in the States, in a prison, high security prison. Now this guy is fat, which means he's well fed. He doesn't look terribly bad for his age. He's mid-50s. This guy went round and murdered a string of people, men, women and children and unborn children. And he's being interviewed by this very clever interviewer and who was beguiling the answers out of him by very good questioning technique. And this guy was loving it. He was loving the attention. And the more I watched it, he was actually getting a kick out of almost reliving them in his mind about it. And I thought, stop the interview. But they didn't stop it because they couldn't hear me, of course. But I thought, stop. What you're indulging is a psychopath who's getting turned on again naturally. Whether it be sexually or not, but certainly excited. You could see it in his face. He was reliving every experience, every smell, every touch, every taste. And this is a guy who, when the interviewer said to him, what did you think? He says, well, it's hard to explain, but when you're cutting the throat, just to look at the detail of the skin separating, the blood coming out, and the smell of the blood. And I thought, oh, too much information, But the guy was getting an absolute kick out of reliving this thing. And he was the epitome of pure evil, this fat bastard. Men, women and children he killed. And I thought, society is absolutely sick about keeping this human. Well, I don't even want to call him human. Once they've been caught, absolutely outright, like these four guys had, I would have put them against the wall and shot them immediately. I don't want them to breathe the sweet breath and the oxygen that I breathe in. I don't want to breathe in any of their exhale. I don't think they have an absolute right to exist. And I got so angry. I thought, I can't watch this, because the interviewer was obviously trying to get an insight into how they tick. Well, they don't tick. Okay, it's subhuman. What you're talking to is an incomplete human without a soul. That's without a doubt. There is something missing in people. Well, reject. Stamp a reject on the forehead. Okay, the obvious evidence, found guilty, Your Honour, 12 to nothing. Fine. As they leave the courtroom, they'll be guided to a place where there's no return, there's no meal, there's no warm bath, there's no shower, there's no nice clothing. Okay, there's no comfy bed, there's no cell, there's no security and seclusion. No. You're going to go into a courtyard. And you're going to be, well, if I had my way, I would crucify them. I would nail them to the cross. Absolutely would. Nail them to a cross. I would give them a little stab, just so they bleed ever so slowly, but not something that's going to be clotting anytime soon. And I will put them on a cross out there, along with all the others on crosses. That would be my solution. Because I would want to inflict the same pain, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. And I would make them suffer, man. I would tell you, I would have them bastards on a cross. If you really want to do it, you'd hang them inverted, because these are absolutely satanistic bastards that do this. And I'm offended that the American government puts such people, that I use the term loosely, such subhumans in the same gene pool, genus, as me or you, because they're not human. Every now and then you see nature throws a curve ball. But why should we, as a society, have to put up with such individuals? Well, the sick thing about American prisons, of course, is that a majority of them are privately funded by individuals or companies who are out to make money on renting a room out. That's the sick thing about it. And this is why the prison population is so full of lifers, because it's just one continuous income stream. But the prisons are overcrowded, I hear you say. Of course they are, because they're full of people who do such things to other people. It's full of such subhumans doing them to innocent humans. Well, that's very fine. Okay. Well, there's plenty of desert in the Arizona. In Arizona, you can go for miles upon miles, and you talk about the road to Damascus. Oh, yeah, baby. As you fly in, you could see the crucified, inverted crucifixes. Oh, who are they? Well, they'll concentrate their minds beautifully. Oh, them, yeah, they're mass killers. They're the psychopaths of our society. They're upside down for a reason. They're going to hell. But not before they get tortured. Not before they suffer some degree of pain. I mean, come on. I think it's an absolute disgrace that we treat these people with kid gloves. They have more rights than the victims or the victim's family. You see, what they should do, if we're in a just world, folks, is tie these bastards up so there's no escape, and invite the family around for the evening, the grieving family of the victims. Pick a tool, take a finger off, pull his toenails out. He's tied down, he's not going to get away. Just torture the bastard. Torture him to absolute edge of hell. Torture him to unconsciousness. And we'll chuck a bucket of water on him again. And you can start again. Okay? Get your wrath out on him for what he's done to your loved ones. But don't kill him. That's too good. You really don't want to kill him. Don't do anything that could be life-threatening for him, because that's our privilege. We want him to suffer as the victims suffered. You do that. You do that, and you will find that these bastards will think twice. But the question is, would they? Because everyone thinks that they're going to get away with it. So, knowing of what the consequences are of being caught, to these people, they don't think like that. They don't think they're going to get caught. Many don't get caught, sadly, but many do. I mean, like that German father who imprisoned his daughter in a basement, his two daughters in a basement. Fritzl, I think his name was. These girls had never been out. Certainly one of them had never been outside. And he was raping his daughters for 25, 30 years, I think it was. This old bastard. Oh, he's another showcase winner, isn't he? You could sell tickets. Think of the money for charity. Sell tickets. What's happening tonight? Oh, there's a public flogging. Oh yeah, they wheel him out every month for his regular public flogging. What did he do? He imprisoned his daughters from a very young age and made them sex slaves for him. And his wife knew. Well, what's happened to his wife then? You see? I would have a very, very different prison system in my world. The prisons would be practically empty. They truly would. I disagree with Saudi Arabia a lot and what their policies are, but you steal in Saudi Arabia, they'll cut your hand off. They certainly will, Stanley, and there's plenty of people walking around Saudi Arabia missing a hand. As a reminder, the crime rate in Saudi Arabia for theft is almost non-existent. If that's what it takes to make people honest, it's a sad state of affairs, but this is how humans are. We need to see the consequences of our actions. And if the consequences of me going out to be a mass serial killer and doing these things just as they did, not that it ever enters my head. Think of a few politicians I'd have a bit of a play with, you understand, but there we are. And yeah, well, we won't talk about that. I can fantasize all I like about what I would do to half the politicians and banksters. But in reality, if I had my world, the crime would be very low because the consequences would be so horrific to be caught. They wouldn't have a lawyer. There would be absolutely no chance of law or legal representation, because what they've done is they've murdered a whole family of people, and they shouldn't have any rights. Okay, you kill someone, you're going down. You have no rights. You don't have civil rights. You don't have legal rights. You've done it. You were caught, and you confessed. Well, I'm glad you confessed, because you'll be going on a crucifix tonight. And trust me, tonight is your last night on earth. Oh, please, I didn't mean it. I repent. I don't want to hear it. There's no point saving it for the judge. You see, you let the families of the ones or the victims, if they survive, pick the penalty. Inverted crucifixion, a funeral pyre without the death bit, so you burn him at the stake or her at the stake. You see, it's knowing that the consequences, there isn't going to be 30 years of being fed, watered and looked after clinically, medically and physically by the state, because some fat bastard Quango have got an income coming in from a cell that's being utilised by the government. No. I'd have these prisons empty very quickly. All the lifers would be gone tomorrow morning, gone. There's no lifer cells anymore. See, the food that they would normally consume, well, that can be given to the homeless people out in the streets 3 times a day instead. What about the medical treatment and the dental treatment these mass murdering psychopathic bastards get in case they have a little toothy ache? Well, it's very simple. If his cell's empty because he's gone to meet his maker down there, that's okay, somebody can have a free dental checkup if they want because his ticket's not being used tonight. You would clear death rows throughout America. You'd clear half the bloody prison cells in America. And as for the foreign ones that are in there with no right to be there because they hopped over the border and started drug dealing the cartel, they'd be gone. You see, in Russia, they used to collect people like this up and send them to the gulags. And if you read Solzhenitsyn's Gulag Archipelago, you'll realise we need to get our own Gulag archipelagos. Okay, a gulag is a prison, and the archipelagos, folks, for those of you who don't know, is a collection of little islands. And every island is a prison where there's no escape, but heavily surrounded in the most inhospitable places on earth, like Siberia. And you would have these bastards out of bed every morning, in their pyjamas outside on parade at minus 26 degrees centigrade. Minus. I don't want to give them a quick death. The choice is a death by crucifixion, or you go to the Gulag Archipelago. Pick your poison. But you're certainly not going to sit there reading your books and getting educated at everybody else's expense. Getting dental treatment and getting your food and being looked after and have 8 hours sleep a day and a little bit of exercise, you fat bastard. No. Gulag Archipelago or crucifixion. Take your pick. Oh man, we are such a soft touch, aren't we? And that's why I had to turn the video off. I thought, I can't bear it. Because these bastards are treated as celebrities, something to be both interviewed, and they love the attention. And got Piers Morgan interviewing one of them who was just a total psychopath. That's an understatement to say the guy was a psychopath. Not somebody you want you or any of your family or friends to meet. Or anybody to meet, quite frankly. But he's drawing breath. He looks perfectly fit and well to me. What a disgrace. What a sad testament to society it is that these people are still enjoying the sweet breath of fresh air that we all enjoy and appreciate every morning. Oh no. This guy would be eating through a straw if I had my way. I'd value your opinion, folks, to see what you think. Crucifixion, inverted of course, over 5 days. We won't let you die too quickly. Want you to suffer a little, as your victims did. And we'll sell tickets. Yes, the lucky raffle winner will be able to inflict some pain on you. Maybe it could be the winner, the lucky winner, could have been a member of their family. How's about that then? It'll wipe the smug smile off these bastards' faces for a start. But it'll save us, the taxpayer, and in America, an absolute fortune. Well, they do say that a good start to any society is an ocean floor full of lawyers and bankers. But let us not forget psychopathic long-term prisoners. They'll be a good start to put on the ocean floor as well. And let the crabs have the final bite. What do you think, folks? I'm sick of our society. I think you kill somebody, you lose every human right available, and there are no lawyers appointed, and they are to be terminated. Simple. Because there is no place on this earth for such individuals. We only have to set a few examples and you'll find the crime rate will indeed go down. It's all in my head, I can't shut the voices up. That's okay. We'll shut them up for you then.